All right, boys and girls, today we have Pink Floyd Animals. It's got 5 songs, and it's 42 minutes long, and it's produced by Pink Floyd. And the album cover, you see Hypnosis. Hypnosis took this picture and designed all this. It's the Battersea Power Station. It's a power plant. It's very industrial, ugly, dark, cloudy skies. It makes an interesting choice because the album mimics the story of Animal Farm by George Orwell. You got the dogs and the pigs and the sheep and all that, and that's what this is all about. And um, I don't usually delve too deep into the lyrics on these or to the concept, but that's basically the concept of this. It's a concept album, and it's Roger Waters' version of Animal Farm called Animals. Um, it says Pink Floyd Animals here in stencil, and I think there's a pig flying. Yeah, there is right here in between the two smokestacks. That's the pig. That's the flying pig. And that's pretty much it. The backside, there's this, it's more clouds. See, it's just the whole thing. And then on the back, you've got the names of the songs, the 5 tracks produced by Pink Floyd. And this is an original, so they printed these in the or they mastered these in the 80s. And you got the you got more pictures in here, and then you've got the lyrics in black background and white font, which is okay. It's readable. Like sometimes you get an album and you can't even read the lyrics in it, but this one's clearly legible, and it's an interesting font. I would like to know what style of font they used, but it looks kind of funny. It looks sort of like someone wrote it like with pencil, but that's not what it is. Okay, yeah. So that's Pink Floyd Animals. Pretty good packaging, and like I said, this is an original from Columbia Records. So the disc looks like this. You can see it, and all the songs are by Roger Waters except for Dogs, which is it's a Gilmore Penn song, and then Roger wrote the lyrics. And of course, that caused a lot of heartburn for Pink Floyd when Roger Waters starts writing everything, and then you've got a problem with compensation and who's really the leader of the band, and that caused a lot of turmoil among the band. But let's see, David Gilmour, lead guitar, rhythm and acoustic on track 2, which is Dogs, bass on tracks 3 and 4, which is Pigs and Sheep, and then the talk box on 3, and then lead vocals on track 2. Richard Wright, he's got the Hammond organ, piano and electric piano, clavinet, mini moog, ARP, string, synth. That's got to be like a Mellotron, I guess. And then the harmony vocals. It's probably not. I don't know why I just said that. He sings on Dogs. And then Roger Waters is the bass on track 2. He's acoustic guitar on tracks 1 and rhythm guitar on 3 and 4, which is Pigs, 3 different ones, and Sheep. And then does the tape effects, the vocoder, which is the thing that modulates his voice, and then the lead and harmony vocals. And then Nick Mason is drums, percussion, and more tape effects. And that's the band. And of course, they're the producers. So the way Pink Floyd did it is they produced themselves. So they were in charge of each of their own parts when they went into the studio. For me, this is my number one Pink Floyd album. For me, it's between Animals and Wish You Were Here, and this one edges it out because of the anger in it and the mellowness versus the mellowness that's in Wish You Were Here. Also about what's interesting about this CD, the idea of the stone comes up. Like I said, I don't like to delve too deeply in the lyrics, but what I noticed upon listening to it today, with Dogs, Sheep, and Pigs on the Wing Part 2, they're singing about the stone, the weight of the stone. It's an interesting idea that he being Roger Waters, blends into this album, which is mostly a commentary on society, politics, capitalism, etc. That's what Animal Farm is about. But the idea of the stone that comes up in these is an interesting element that weaves in and out of the 3 songs. It's about isolation and guilt and regret and oppression and madness and physical pain and emotional pain. And I just think it's interesting that dragged down by the stone is what he says in Dogs. And then in Sheep, in the intermission, it's stone, stone, stone. And then in Pigs on the Wing Part 1, he's singing about the weight of the stone. So anyway, back in 95, that's when I had my big animal stage. And the song Dogs ringing in my head every day when I worked in the mill as a summer student. I was a summer college student. And that's what I always go back to. I mean, that's why it's my favorite. And that's one of the reasons, because I don't ever bop around at work singing other Pink Floyd songs or albums or Wish You Were Here or things like that. I had like Dogs rolling around in my head forever. And it's such an awesome tune. That's why Pink Floyd Animals for me is my number one. The first track on the album is Pigs on the Wing Part 1. It's written by Roger Waters and it's 1 minute and 25 seconds. It just serves its purpose as the album intro and also the album closer, and I'll talk about that at the end. But it's in the key of G major and it's rubato, which is the tempo is like doing weird things. I saw it scored in 4/4 time. When you start tapping your foot though and counting, it seems like it's in 3/4 time, like 1 2 3 1 2 3. But the way they notate this or score it, it's in 4/4, and that whole da 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 dun da da dun. That part is what makes it a 4-beat measure. The intro is 8 bars in 4/4, and the verse goes, "If you didn't care what happened to me," that's Roger on lead vocals. Dun, da, da, da. That kind of whole strumming is through the whole song, and then the verse is the whole song. It's just one verse. I think the whole song is 43 bars when I counted it out. Just 43 bars from beginning to end. No drums, no keyboards, no lead guitar, just Roger Waters strumming and singing. Pigs on the Wing. Track 2 is Dogs. It's written by David Gilmour. He wrote the music, and then Roger Waters for the lyrics and probably other contributions. 17 minutes and 6 seconds. It's the longest track on the album. And, I think it says in the book Gilmour was upset that, he had the longest song, and he couldn't figure out why Roger Waters was getting paid 5 or 6 times more he was. I probably didn't understand publishing rights and how that works. But it's in the key of G major, but the first chord is a D minor 9, so that's like the dominant chord of the song, so it's probably a minor, probably D minor is the key, and it's 104 beats per minute. It's a pretty good tempo, and it's in 4/4 time, and the intro is 12 bars, when you can actually hear the strumming, the whole da 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 da. That's when you can hear it picking up, and it's about 38 seconds long. Best riff ever. Da, 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 da. The verse is "You Gotta Be Crazy." It's a 16-bar verse. David Gilmour's on lead vocals, and he's got a great voice. And for the first 3 verses in the bridge, he's singing. After the verses, the guitar solo starts. So guitar solo 1 is after the second verse. It does that. And then the guitar solo 2, that's after the third verse. It starts at 3 minutes and 42 seconds. It goes on for 32 bars. It's like the best guitar solos you'll ever hear out of Gilmour are on this song. Well, I could think of a couple exceptions. I mean, I have my Gilmour favorites, but this is absolutely one of them. Then the third solo starts, the best solo ever written. The tempo, the solos, and then the dogs barking and howling, and that solo starts at 5 minutes and 32 seconds, 6:47, 5:32 to 6 minutes and 47 seconds, about 41 bars worth of solo, and that's the one where bum 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 bada bum bum bum. It's the best. It's just so awesome. The bridge comes after that. The bridge is the part of the song where it goes, "And when you lose control, you'll reap the harvest that you have sown." That's at 6 minutes and 47 seconds. The keyboards on Animals and this particular point of the song are just perfect. I think it's 8 bars and then 16 bars with the "and it's too late to lose the weight you used to need to throw around" part. That part is about 16 bars. So I think about total it's about 24 bars for the entire bridge part. The intermission starts at the exactly at 8 minutes. I think it moves to 3/4 time or 6/4 time or something like that, depending on how you count it. But the airy keyboards in the intermission are what make this part awesome. And with the echo of stone, stone, stone over and over and over, that's after the whole drag down by the stone part. It's just a cool intermission, and all three of these songs have an intermission in it, the three middle songs. At about 10 minutes and 5 seconds, the intermission changes to a squirrely sounding synth, like the... that's what it sounds like when they're whistling for the dog to come home. According to the credits, that's Richard Wright doing all that magnificent synth work in the middle part in the intermission, and then the intro starts again at 11 minutes and 39 seconds. It's 16 bars this time with the da 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 da, and then the verse is it's 4 bars. Got to admit, I'm a little bit confused, and this time it's Roger Waters on lead vocals, and I said 4 bars. It's actually the 4th verse, but they're all the verses are like really long. They're like 16 bars. Well, I guess that's standard verse, but that's the 4th verse of the song is when Roger Waters sings. The final part of the song is the coda, and the coda starts with "Who was born in a house full of pain." That starts at 15 minutes and 20-second mark, and the coda goes on for 51 bars all the way to the end. So Dogs is, to me, it's the most awesome song, probably on the album. The song arrangement is verse, verse, guitar solo 1, another verse, guitar solo 2 and 3, and then the bridge, and then the intermission, and then verse 4 and verse 5, and then the coda. And that's Dogs. This is an awesome song. Track 3 is Pig's Three Different Ones, written by Roger Waters. It's 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Roger's on lead guitar, David is on bass, and also David plays, I'm going to assume that's David on the talk box. That's what it says in the credits. It's like a guitar solo at the end, when he does the voice thing with the guitar. Kind of like in Keep Talking on Division Bell. It's in the key of G major, but the first chord is a E minor, so I guess it could be E minor key. 62 beats per minute. Real slow tempo, and in 4/4 time. The song is really 3 verses with plus the intermission, and Roger jamming on acoustic guitar, and then the solo at the end. Waters is singing about these 3 politicians he doesn't like in the UK. One he actually names, Mary Whitehouse, is in the 3rd verse. And this is Pig's Three Different Wings, or Three Different Ones. The intro is starting, it goes to 1 minute and 9 seconds. The whole do 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 do. It's Richard Wright part with pig snorting and a guitar, then the whole da 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 da. After the whole do 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 da 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 boom 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 da da da. The verse is starts at 109. Big man, pig man, haha, charade you are. It's 10 bars. And then there's like, if you go look it up on Genius, which is really stupid, the song is 3 verses. Even the lyrics in here shows that. They've got it broken into pre-chorus and chorus. It's one of the reasons why I hate Genius, because Genius, the people that author in Genius, they should have their licenses revoked or their accounts taken away, because it's not a verse, pre-chorus, chorus. But the first part of the verse is the 10 bars. The second part of that verse is, you're nearly a good laugh, almost a joker. That's 5 bars at that slow tempo. And then the third part of the verse, which they call a chorus, but it's not a chorus. It's the end of the verse is you're nearly a laugh, but you're nearly a cry. That's 5 bars. So it's 10 bars. It's 10 bars for the second and third. It's really a 20-bar verse. That's what we're talking about here. And there's 3 20-bar verses in the song. The intermission of Pig's Three Different Ones runs from 4 minutes and 13 seconds to 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So just 3 seconds shy of 3 minutes. The da 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 da. That's at the 5:13. That's when the talk box starts. It's part of the whole intermission part is David Gilmour goofing around with the talk box. So it's the whole wah 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 wow wow wow. You know, he's doing that whole scat thing on the talk box. It's really cool. And then after the intermission, the song intro starts again. So it goes to the do 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 do, you know that, and then the da 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 da. Then it goes to the third verse, "Hey You White House," and that's pretty much the whole song. The outro is the guitar solo, starting at 9:39, and it's got a big wailing start from Gilmour, like where. That goes to the end of the song, and that's Pig's three different ones. It's the verse, the second verse, the intermission, which is just under 3 minutes, and then the third verse, and then the outro. Track 4 is Sheep. It's also Roger Waters, 10 minutes and 18 seconds. And again, Roger Waters is on guitar or lead guitar, and David Gilmour is on bass. But I just think it's really interesting. They talk about that in the book. You know, I have that book by Nicholas Schaffner that I used to read quotes on, but he talks about why they did that. And I think probably because Roger just wanted to strum out those licks on the guitar. It's in the key of G major, and it's 124 beats per minute. It's scored in 12/8 time, so that's why it feels like a waltz. When you ever see 12/8 time, that's 12 beats per measure, and the eighth note gets the one beat. Feels like a waltz. That's what it is. The intro is the best. It's the best Rick Wright intro. You know, it does that whole thing at the beginning. The verse is after the whole you can hear the sheep in the background. It's actually quite cool how they did all that on this album. The verse is harmlessly passing your time in the grassland away. You know, I counted out as 32 bars, but I was counting in 4/4. But I guess if you divide that by 3, that would make more sense because it's 12/8 time. Well, I didn't think to do that when I was counting, but because I only went 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. So 3 bars is actually equal to 1 bar. You know what I mean? It's about 10 or 12 bars if you count it that way. The intermission, it starts at 3:48. What's different about this one is it builds and builds with a really cool synth solo starting at 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Of the 3 intermissions on this album, Sheep is my favorite because it's the most keyboard synth driven, with Richard Wright's like paw prints are all over it. At 5 minutes and 35 seconds is when the intermission transitions to the bridge part. And I think that's the bass part playing underneath the keyboards. The whole bum 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 bum. It's doing that the whole time. And then you get to the and then you hear beep beep. Then the bridge part starts. It's like a prayer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And what Roger Waters has done here is he's taken that prayer and he's sort of like made it really dark and creepy. But that starts at 6:28. The entire intermission bridge part ends at 7 minutes and 11 seconds, so it lasts about 3 minutes and 23 seconds. All the intermissions are about 3 minutes, as I said before, but the one on Sheep is definitely the coolest one, at least to me. And I didn't add this to the script, but when I saw Les Claypool play this last summer in 2023, they played all of Animals, and I sat there with my phone and recorded some of the intermissions just because those are the best parts of the songs, really, on all 3 of them. But for me, Sheep is my favorite one. Outro. The outro of Sheep it's an awesome guitar riff starting at 8 minutes and 11 seconds. Da 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 da. I really don't want to go. Da 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 da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what it does at the end. It does that all the way to the end, and it's just a cool ending to the song. It's almost like a happy ending, um, like the sheep being led to slaughter. I when you think about. By the way, I'm going off script again, so and that's okay. But when you think about the dogs, the pigs, and the sheep are being led to slaughter. The sheep are the people, the schleps that are out there going to work every day, and they just got their day jobs and they're just living their lives. The dogs, these are the people, these are the business people that are managing them and running them and barking and basically they're the enforcers to the pigs. The pigs are these are the owners, really. They own the businesses. And I guess if you think about it, they're the political executives, the congressmen and the legislatures and the presidents and the prime ministers and all those people. Those are the pigs. All the leadership of the world. And the sheep. It's funny that sheep it's in a major key because it's really the darkest idea of all the three songs are these sheep that are just you're getting murdered, really. That's what it is. Anyway, a sheep is verse, intermission, bridge, the prayer part after the bridge, and then the bridge is the prayer part, really. And then the verse and the outro, that's sheep. The final track on Animals is Pigs on the Wing. It's track 5, part 2. It's written by Waters. It's 1 minute and 28 seconds. It's the same as the first one, with different lyrics, but it's the same purpose. It's in the key of G, the rubato, and it's in 4/4 time. The verse is, you know that I care what happens to you, and I know that you care for me too. And that's pretty much the song. These are really love songs to his I think it was his first or second wife. I can't remember. He's been married like 4 times. I think Carolyn or Caroline or if I'm going off of memory. I didn't, I could have done more research for this, but it doesn't matter. It's a love song to his wife at the time, and it serves as an album wrapper. And I think in the book Nicholas Schaffner says there's a trend going on here, which is Pink Floyd and Roger Waters particularly, they like to begin the album and end the album the same way, which is in Dark Side of the Moon, it's the heartbeat. In Wish You Were Here, it's the song Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It's the bookends to the album. And on Animals, the bookends to the album are Pigs on the Wing. And that's really what you need to know. Pigs on the Wing Part 2 is 1 verse long. And for those following along, rubato means, when you're playing freely and you're letting the rhythm control you, not necessarily trying to stay on tempo, but I think it's a folksy thing, really. Anyway, let's get into the big summary, shall we? The sales are number 5 for Pink Floyd, behind Dark Side of the Moon, which is number 1. The Wall sold a ton. Wish You Were Here sold a ton, and The Division Bell. I mean, I think it's incredible that The Division Bell sold more than Pink Floyd Animals. I like all of those albums. So anyway, the Animals sold 6.5 million copies, which is a lot. But just think about that. The Division Bell sold more than that. I mean, 6.5 million is a lot. That's a lot of records. And I guess the Division Bell was a big deal in '93. I mean, the band coming back together and Rick Wright's in the band and all that. So, Animals is number 7 overall in 1977. That's pretty good. I mean, think about the albums that were out in '77. Bad Outta Hell by Meatloaf, or Mr. Loaf. Saturday Night Fever. The Stranger by Billy Joel. Out of the Blue by Electric Light Orchestra. And Running on Empty by Jackson Browne. I think that's pretty good for Animals, which is pretty dark content and commentary on society. These other albums I just listed off are pretty happy. At least they sound happy. Bad Outta Hell sounds happy. It's kind of crazy, Meatloaf. Anyway, progarchives.com has this The calculated user rating is 4.53, which is high. That's really high. It's 68% 5 stars, and that is a lot of 5 star ratings. And it's number 9 on their top 10 list, ahead of Yes is Fragile. I think it's a better album than Fragile. Of course, I think it's better. I think it's the best Pink Floyd album. AllMusic.com gives it 4 stars. I think that's low. 4.5 stars. Animals is all extended pieces, yet it never drifts. It slowly, ominously works its way toward its destination. For an album that is so clearly is Waters, David Gilmour's guitar dominates thoroughly, and Richard Wright's keyboards rarely rise above a mood-setting background, such as the intro to Sheep. I'll disagree with that. I think what the sounds that he chooses to play are amazing, especially those really those high sounds that you hear in Sheep and Pigs. And his synth solos are amazing. I'm sure he's not writing any of the songs. He's kind of like, I think he's having a lot of personal problems in his life at the time, but I think Rick Wright's doing great work on this album. Rolling Stone gave it 2 stars. Wow. Rob Ford says a laser show looking for a soundtrack. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I, Me personally, I love the album. I like that it's longer pieces. I don't care that, you know, I don't care that it's not like short pop songs. That's what I like anyway. I wish all music were like 15-minute songs, 17-minute songs. It'd be awesome. Anyway, what's next? Next up on the channel is Love Gun by Kiss. And then after that, I know some of you are waiting for this, Going for the One. So you have look forward to that. Thanks, everyone. I'm out. See you.